Hello, you're listening to a We Will Fix It podcast short with Colin Thomas and myself, James Piecowye.
See, the interesting job for me at the moment is preventative stuff, which is we haven't had much rain recently.
I am absolutely worried about that. And I'm not worried because it's going to rain, because rain is great. But there are so many things that, we didn't get much rain last year. So there's so many things that have degraded.
Yeah.
And when we get hit by a good rain, there's going to be some problems. And I'm talking about some outdoor light fixtures, possibly sill things, exposed electrical wires that weren't exposed but now are, and the list goes on and on and on.
Well, we got our windows cleaned last week, and I was amazed. We had no leaks. We had absolutely zero, which is lovely to know because I'm expecting torrential rain this year. And it may well be, I think it may well be late, January, February, but maybe we've got the cloud seeding boys that are going to be involved.
I think it's going to be one of those years. We're going to get serious, because we had some rain, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we had.
Yeah, that was huge. You remember when Charge was underwater for 2-3 weeks?
2 weeks,
yeah. It was nuts, wasn't it?
It's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm thinking there's every chance that it could well be that. But for most people that don't own a maintenance company, were you to clean your windows, I think you might find that you're going to get some significant leaking. Well, that's fine when it's cleaned the windows and you've got a little pool there because they haven't used all that much water. When you've got 3 days solid of rain, that's a whole different world of pain.
Yeah.
And also electrics, that's the other thing. I mean, we had a property. Do you remember my property before this one? We must have rewired. We knew that it was coming from a particular AC. Again, concept of flow. However, didn't matter what we did to it. We did everything to that unit. We raised it. We rewired the whole thing. Never got to the bottom of that one unit. And that's about the only one in the history of We Will Fix It that we've ever not been able to solve at my property.
Wow.
Yeah. But again, knowing what condition your electrics are in is a very sensible scenario to be in.
It's just doing that walk around. I mean,
it is.
And it's sometimes we're a little bit loosey-goosey here because, run a few extension cords and things because it doesn't tend to rain. So it's pretty easy. But when the rain comes, it rains.
One of the positive things in that regard, though, is we have the British standard. And I know I'm British and therefore I bang on about this, but no, it is actually the best. In terms of the breakers and the systems that we have for electrics here. They are the best in the world, without a doubt. We have earth wires for a very good reason. If you're not using them because you're using adapters, then more fool you. That's a permanently live unit, which is, again, what's used in Northern America, which is, in my opinion, dangerous. But there we go. We have a fantastic system here. So it's not something that people need to be hugely worried about, because there is every chance, unless there is a defect within your breakers, which is unusual, it will break when required. However, the inconvenience of not having any electric in your home is quite something. And if you imagine the time when that hits, we will be inundated. We'll be absolutely flat out. And also for our business, we have our essential maintenance customers who are our annual customers who get priority in this situation. So we will throw all of our resource to those people that have committed to us for a year. So therefore, we then book on a first-come, first-served basis for any spare availability that we have. And luckily, I've got some really good electricians. And we can normally get over that hump within a day or two. But a day or two?
Yeah, it's a long time.
So therefore, people then think about going elsewhere. Totally get it. However, anybody that has got space in that situation, you do not want inside your house.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
And so trying to get a decent electrician at moments like that is where the problems occur.
Also,
so think ahead.
Yeah, also good time to be thinking about locks, doors, painting.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talked about the fits of windows. I think just door ceilings. This is great weather because it's not oppressively warm. It's not oppressively humid. So you can get people in who can invest a little bit of time and do just these little things.
We currently have 10 DIY teams booked solidly 3 days ahead. So that would be about 100 jobs ahead on DIY.
When you started, you didn't have these DIY teams.
No, we had one DIY team and about 2 or 3 AC guys. And now they're a team of 10 teams, so 20 staff that just do DIY, and
that's a lot of folks.
Yeah, it is. Well, we've trained every single one of them. My head of DIY, who is the most skilled guy you'll ever meet, joined us as a driver back in 2008.
We spoke about this.
Yeah, and he's absolutely incredible.
Oh, you know what it's time to do now? Because you're not using them yet. Screens.
Ah, that is a really good one. Yes,
it's screen time.
Yeah, absolutely. And those
don't be fooled. I'm butting in here, but do not be fooled. And you go to Ace or you go to SpeedX, go to your hardware store, and you say, "Oh, they sell the screen material. They sell it's easy," and you get the roller, and they're going to tell you you're going to watch it on YouTube. It's simple. No, it is not.
It's definitely not. And I've tried it. And I've
failed.
Yeah. So there's two things to it. So first of all, when you go to Ace Hardware, you'll see that there's two different types that are available.
Yeah.
You've got the silver aluminium, and then you've got the black nylon.
Yeah.
Silver aluminium's cheaper. Yeah, like silver aluminium.
Yeah.
And then when you go to try and put it in, you'll stretch it, and it will never look right.
Never.
If you manage to get it in correctly for some ridiculous reason, the first time that somebody accidentally touches it or walks through it, you'll stretch it, and that's the end of that. So you only ever go black nylon. That's the first thing. Secondly, if you are Joe Public, one of the big problems with it is there are a whole bunch of different sizes of the cord that you use to hold it in.
Yeah, and you don't have all this cord.
No, absolutely not. You won't have the right one. I mean,
I didn't.
No, we keep about 200 meters of each one in every fan, so that way we can do it there and then. Thirdly, what you need to tension it.
Yeah.
Now, to tension it, if you imagine there are lots of little squares that are within the mesh, that's what the mesh is.
Yeah.
When you find that you've got a little ripple in one direction and you literally pull on that corner to try and straighten out that ripple, all of a sudden your squares become oblongs and the whole thing looks horrific.
Yeah.
So there's a real skill to getting these put in, which is good.
And I applaud all the DIYers who are going to try doing their screens, but it's going to look like a dog's breakfast when you're done. So why not save the misery? And I always put it, what's my misery value?
Yeah.
You know, how much misery am I willing to take? And how long after I've done the job am I willing to take more misery? What's the value I put on that? And honestly, it's cheaper to have your guys come and do it, right?
Well, do you know, there's the other thing, which is when people then invite me to their houses having done it themselves, and they go, "Oh, I didn't need you boys. Look at what I did." Okay, now, I'm hoping that I might be able to get a little bit of a drink and a little bit of food at this property. But equally, what I'm actually thinking inside is, oh my word, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
It looks horrific.
Yeah.
And I have to sit there and go, I love your house. It's absolutely amazing. And I won't say to them, well done for the fly screen, because I don't mean it. So I can't say it.
No.
If they ask me, what do you think? Then we have a real problem.
We have a problem.
At that point, I'm making a running dash for the nearest can of beer that I'm going to neck quickly before I get thrown out.
Oh man,
It's the only way.
And it should be the simplest job. It is not.
No, it's an absolute horror story. I'm never doing one again.
So that's it. And they always go. Like, they're going to go eventually.
Yeah, I mean,
and if you've got pets, mine, you know, I've got one that I keep that I never fixed, and I keep it as a souvenir, where the dogs ran through the metal screen, and it's just torn apart. Yeah. And someone said, "Are you going to replace this?" I go, "You know what? Absolutely not."
Do you know, we had the best one ever, which was quite a long time ago now, that we got for the kids an inflatable bouncy castle in the garden. And out they were playing, and we could see them, but we got into a bit of a conversation with friends in the house, and then suddenly Dylan came through, literally through both panels, and screamed, Ruby's stuck, quick. Okay? I then go back through the panels. We've still got the frame there, but with the middle thing, I've gone straight the way through it to run to Ruby. She got her foot caught really high, so she would have been hanging if it had been any longer.
Oh, no.
And literally, we managed to get her out. Such a stupid design. I hadn't noticed it. Considering I'm a health and safety trained, that's ridiculous. So really dangerous. But anyway, we got her out in time. And then Dylan was literally crying his eyes out, going, "I'm so sorry about the screen." I'm like, "Dylan, you're kidding. You just saved your sister. Don't worry about the screen. I'm absolutely over the moon you came through it." Because otherwise, literally in the 5 seconds, and we would have had a real problem on our hands. So it was one of those, which was the happiest screen replacement you've ever seen in your life, because Dylan looked after his little sister.
There we go.
It's wonderful.